During the bloody and violent Caste War of Yucatan, many were forced to flee south to Belize for freedom, bringing with them individual tales of horror. The Mayas were the first inhabitants of Belize. This is evident every time you visit the ruins of one of their magnificent temples. Yet the British consistently promoted what Dr. Angel Cal calls the empty land myth.
I've written about that because I think that some people are purposely distorting our history, suggesting that we emptied the land and the British came and just took over the land. There wasn't anybody here. Now, it's a wonderful idea if at that time you were a British person trying to advance your claims to this country. But the Yucatec Maya were here throughout.
Captain George Henderson served here with the 5th West India Regiment in 1803. And in 1809, he wrote well, you can call it a history, but it's more than history, of the British settlement at Belize, B-A-L-I-Z-E.
Henderson's book does not mention the Mayas, but does this mean they were not here?
There was nobody here but the Creoles and the Europeans, the English and the British and the Creoles, no?
We have archaeological evidence of several Maya groups existing in Belize when the British came here, particularly in the Yalbac area of Belize, and along the Macal River at Tipu, and up in the Orijoac district near present-day Lamanai.
The number of Mayas living in Belize at the time of British contact has been estimated to be between 5,000 and 10,000. Another 15,000 immigrated to Belize during the half-century of bloodshed known as the Caste War that took place in neighboring Yucatan, Mexico. More than a century ago, a pregnant woman attended Mass one fateful day in a church in Chan Santa Cruz, present-day Felipe Carrillo Puerto. Her granddaughter tells this story.
Estaban haciendo una misa y entraron unos indios a darle machetazo a la gente adentro de la iglesia. Señora con sus neneitos estaban en esa misa, agarraban los neneitos y los tiraban arriba y que los recibían con un fierro largo que tiene punta, que le nombre bayoneta. Que con eso, cuando tiraban los niños arriba, con eso lo recibían. Y a la gente grande, macheteados los hacían. Mi abuela salió, pero ella estaba embarazada de mi mamá. Y entonces ella los sacaron por su papá, solo papá, porque su mamá de mi abuela también lo mataron. Y como 5 días que salieron allá, nació mi mamá, pero su mamá de ella murió.
Benjamina's story raises an important question. If the Caste War was indeed a racial war between the Mayan Indians and the Spanish, why did Mayan Indians attack other Mayan Indians?
In Yucatan, they used mostly Mayan labor. So there were forms of labor control. In Yucatan, they used debt as a mechanism to control and to practically enslave. So those Maya that had been trapped in these labor contracts could not get out, legally speaking, because as they tried to get out and they needed more things for their normal livelihood, they had to borrow more, and so they got deeper and deeper into debt. And so when they died, this was transferred to their children. And so their children were trapped. And then their children's children were trapped. And so this was a form of labor control. that was accompanied by a whole culture of perception that saw the Maya as inferior. Many of the Mayas, though, were not caught in that trap. Many of the Mayas, especially those who ran away, because you could run away into the forest, when the war exploded, it was because the sugar-producing Spaniards were trying to move into the area where the quote-unquote free Maya lived. And they were trying to entrap them into the same thing and to, in a sense, practically enslave them. So this was a social war.
While the Mayas waged a bloody battle against the Mestizos in Mexico, the Mayas in Belize waged their own battle against the British, whose search for wood led them to encroach on the land used by the Mayas here.
The Rio Hondo has three branches. There is Boots River, there's Rio Bravo, and there's Blue Creek. If you look at the map of Belize in the early 1840s, the boundary was Boots River, you know, because no one had defined where the Rio Hondo began. The documents merely said that it's between the Rio Hondo, that's where our border is. So, initially it was Boots, that was the border, and so the Maya living here were okay. But then around the same time, the British were pushing their way into the western part of Belize. So the British said, no, that is not our boundary. It is this one. It's Rio Bravo. Now, when they did that, they were moving into Mayan land, where the Mayan villages were located. And so the Maya retaliated. And then the British said, it's not the Bravo, it's the Blue Creek, further taking more land that the Maya occupied, no? And so that is the basis of the Caste War of Belize.
Maya retaliation was quick, violent, and bloody, and a matter of great concern to both the Yucatec authorities and the British. So, in 1853, a treaty was signed between the Mayas and the Yucatec authorities and co-signed by the British Superintendent of Belize. It said that once the Mayas agreed to stop fighting the Yucatec authorities, they could retain their lands and weapons. While the Southern Mayas in Belize agreed to these terms, the Central Mayas, the Cruzoob Mayas of Chan Santa Cruz in Mexico, did not.
So the Southern Maya and